Today, we're going to talk about managing trader motivation. So what am I actually going to sort of cover within under that umbrella? Well, I'm going to talk about the importance of it, all right, which might seem quite obvious, but, you know, especially when here we are at the start of a new year, everybody's motivated to make changes in their life. However, there are sort of, as you'll discover, there are sort of times and places upon our path, upon our journey, and it's about understanding the importance of that trader motivation and how we can work with it rather than work against us. We'll also talk about how to manage motivation so that you can avoid burnout. That's something I'm going to touch on later on in our particular session. We'll touch on how to overcome lapses in motivation. It happens to everybody. That's the first thing and the most understanding thing to realize. And also, you know, what can you actually do to develop the knowledge and the skills to improve your motivation? Are you able to manage your trader motivation in a superior manner for what is, you know, a long trading year that stretches out ahead of us? So for those of you who join our webinar series and actually just want a little bit more interaction, you can get support after the webinar by joining us on tradersyard.com. You can join the Trading Spotlight group, tradersyard.com/group/312. I'll be in there this afternoon. I'm in during the week, and my colleagues Marcus and Jens are in there. They're quite prolific in what they're posting, and they post some really excellent material in there. So please come and join us. You know, we enjoy the interaction with you all there. And for me, well, hopefully you know who I am now. I'm Paul Willis, okay? I've traded for many years, okay? I've helped coach and mentor traders down the years. Primarily, I'm a sort of dominant trend trader for swing trades, but I am a mean reversion trader for intraday. And we also have Admiral Markets, which, as you can see there, provide, you know, a wide range of instruments that you can trade with real global expertise, with local support, regulated across many regulatory environments across the globe, with some very attractive spreads there across popular trading products. And if you want to know more about that, please get in touch with your account representative, and they'll be very happy to provide you with some guidance. But yep, here we are today. Let's talk about managing trader motivation. So, you know, please, ladies and gentlemen, let me have your thoughts on trader motivation. How do you manage your own? Do you notice it, okay? Do you actually go through periods of noticing your actual trader motivation? Because as the slide says there, the journey to consistent success as a trader can be a long and frustrating one, which may take some time. A lot of it is based upon your lifestyle and resources. During that journey, you will experience peaks, valleys, and plateaus. During the valleys and plateaus, it can be hard to maintain motivation. So we're going to talk about, well, how do we manage our trader motivation? How do we identify where we are presently, and what can we do to sort of maintain our motivation, or what can we do to turn around our motivation if we're in a little bit of a slump? So, you know, as I said, it's a crucially important area that we need to understand. We take it a little bit for granted until it sort of until it flags a little bit, until it ebbs our trader motivation, and then we're trying to understand what is it that we have to do to be able to sort of, you know, regain our trading mojo, and we'll talk about that today, ladies and gentlemen. As it says there, you know, we're talking about peaks and valleys of trading. We're just going to use this kind of, you know, this kind of analogy of sort of mountains, of a journey, because it's very much like that for our trading. And as it says there, your trading journey will consist of a series of peaks, valleys, and plateaus. Part of the best way to manage yourself is to be honest about where you are now. Are you currently on a peak, on a plateau, or in a valley? All three will present different challenges to your motivation as a trader. So just take a moment, ladies and gentlemen, please just put it in the chat box there, okay? I really appreciate it. You know, where do you think you are in terms of your trading journey at the moment? Do you believe you're on a peak? Do you believe you're on a plateau? Or do you believe you're in a valley? And all I can say to you is that be honest about where you are now. There's no judgment, certainly not from me, okay? Everybody is on that journey, and everybody has their own peaks, valleys, and plateaus. It's about recognizing where you are in your particular journey. So Peter says that he feels that if he's in a bit of a valley at the moment. Thanks for joining us, Peter. Thanks for your honesty, and hopefully we'll touch on a few things later on in this session that allows you to helps you to start just turning in the right direction, okay, and start climbing out of the valley. Vincenzo says, I'm between a plateau and a peak at the moment. Fantastic, Vincenzo. That's brilliant. That's super. Really appreciate that. And we'll talk about, in a few slides' time, what to do about if you're on a plateau and want to get to your next peak. Plarman joins us, says that he's on a plateau now. Okay, that's great. Okay. Ernest says he's, in big words, he's in a valley. All right. And that's fine. Okay. To all of you, I really appreciate that. Please, just keep pinging away where you believe you are. As I say, it's about being honest where you are at the moment. There is no judgment, all right? There is no judgment. It's about taking a snapshot of where you are here today, okay? And also, it's, a lot of it's to do with perspective. One person's peak can be another person's valley. It's about your experience. It's about your journey at this moment. And it's just about being able to recognize, this is where I am. Okay, this is where I am. Be honest. That's, you embrace where you are at the moment, because when you do, and when you sort of, make reality your friend, that is when you start to actually see things in a new light, and you're in a position to start actually making a difference in terms of how you behave, how you act, what you do, the way you view things, and those are the elements that can start to get you moving in the right direction on your journey. So thank you very much for that. And as I said, even if you're watching this later on the sort of YouTube channel or on the Facebook page or on the Traders Yard, just put there in the comments box, where you think you are, okay? Whether you're on a peak, whether you're on a plateau, or whether you're on a valley. It helps, okay? Just sometimes even just expressing it, okay? Just sometimes even expressing it is helpful for you, because it's almost like you're recognizing it, you're accepting it, okay? It's you're building your self-awareness of where you are at the moment, and it's okay. It's okay, ladies and gentlemen. We are all on that journey. We're all at different, we're all different parts of the path. We're all, as I say, in our peaks, valleys, and plateaus, and it's about recognizing where we are and what we need to do to change that, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I suppose it would actually help for us to think about, well, what actually is motivation, right? What is the definition of motivation? So as you can see there's two definitions of motivation there. If you look there up into the dictionary, number one is a reason or reasons for acting or behaving in a particular way. Or the second one is a desire or willingness to do something, to have enthusiasm. Motivation is the experience of desire or aversion. It's about you wanting something, or you want to avoid or escape from something. And motivation has both an objective and a subjective aspect. It's almost like it has an internal and external aspect to that. So what I'll talk about here, just, sharing experiences there, okay, is that, just see that line there. You either, motivation is about you wanting something, or you want to avoid or escape from something. So very often, I have phone calls from coaching clients, and really, what they're looking to do is they want to escape from something. They're coming to trading because they want to escape from something. So they may be in a job that they just really don't like, okay? We've all been in jobs that we didn't enjoy, all right? We've all had, parts of our career which were, not brilliant. That's just human nature, okay? That happens, that's part of life. But, what I talk to them about is about recognizing that, if trading isn't a tool for escape, okay? Trading is a fascinating endeavor, one that I love, and one that has, I've been very, very fortunate, with my own trading journey. But equally, what you have to realize is that trading isn't a tool to escape from something. So, what I can do is give you a little bit of free guidance, is that, if you're hoping that trading will help you escape a job or a boss that you don't particularly like, I can assure you it won't, ladies and gentlemen. If you, my free guidance would be that, if you don't like your job, sort your job out first and then come to trading, okay? And because what will happen is if you're unhappy in your job, if you're miserable in your job, well, then you will bring that to your trading experience. All right, you will, but trust me, you will bring that to your trading experience. Paul Tudor Jones made a great quote, which I've mentioned before in previous Trading Spotlight webinars here, is that, he talks about how profits come from happiness, not the other way around. So it's about, he spends his time doing all he can to make himself happy so that he can trade to the best of his ability. So, what I talk about there in terms of motivation is, if you're not happy in your job, okay, address that issue first, and then come to trading, because that will all feed through into your trading motivation. And it's all about us learning how to manage that. Next, you have to really sort of look at, well, why do you want to be a trader? Okay, why do you want to be a trader? And please, ladies and gentlemen, please, I would love to sort of hear your responses to that question in the chat box or in the commentary box if you're watching this later. What is it that brought you to trading? Why did you actually want to be a trader? Okay, and be honest. Once again, there's no judgment for me. We all come from different areas, different, we all come from different parts of the world, different backgrounds. We all have different drives, all different motivations. But, when I talk to traders, okay, about why do they want to be a trader, very often some of those common reasons will include stuff like financial reward, okay? They actually want to do it for the thrill, okay? They find, trading is going to be thrilling. For the status, okay? They believe that, being a successful trader will sort of impart some element of status upon them, that, that they will be held, in higher regard in society. I would perhaps challenge people on that with regards to the status of traders in society post the GFC. Some people want to be a trader for the challenge, okay? I know for myself, that was one of the real things that drove me, okay? I love the challenge of working in financial markets, okay? I love the challenge of trading, right? A lot of that is not for the external, but because the internal is that actually, it's been a real journey, okay, towards not only trading mastery, but personal mastery. It's about understanding myself better and better every day. It's about raising my self-awareness. And when I do that, strange enough, I tend to trade better myself. Well, maybe you wanted to be a trader because you wanted to impress someone. Maybe you wanted to impress parents. Maybe you wanted to impress friends. Maybe you wanted to impress a particular future partner and thought that wanting to be a trader would help you in that. Or, as it says there, perhaps you wanted to escape your present lifestyle. And as we just talked about there in the previous slide, there are lots of people who, as I said, would use trading as a tool to escape your present lifestyle. As I said there, it's important to know what your true motivation is. It really is, okay? It's important to know what your true motivation is. Be honest with yourself, okay? If there's one thing we can take from this particular webinar, is about just being honest with yourself. Make reality your friend, all right? Because sometimes you might realize that maybe you shouldn't even be trading at all, which might sound a bit strange for me to be saying on a trading webinar, but we're here in the Trading Spotlights webinar series. We are embracing, we're embracing sort of honesty. There's no judgment. We want to basically talk to you about the trading journey. We want to be, fully upfront and sort of express, all manner of opinions. And it might well be that, when you sort of look at your underlying motivation, that actually, your reasons for wanting to be a trader weren't actually, aren't the sort of drivers that are going to carry you through what can be a challenging journey. It's important to have that motivation, right? Remember, your motivations filter into your trading discipline, which we'll talk about in a moment. So Vincenzo, he says that, one of his motivators was the freedom to work anytime and anywhere. Absolutely, okay, Vincenzo, you're absolutely spot on. It's one of my own personal motivators was autonomy, okay? The autonomy, right? The autonomy to live life by my own rules, that freedom to work anytime and anywhere. Peter says there that, one of his drives is the freedom from having to rely on other people. And you're absolutely right there, Peter, okay? It's, I can share a personal story, okay, from that to the, I used to work in a corporate environment many years ago, okay, as a young man, and I had a good work ethic. I'd quite often be in there on a Saturday working hard, on my job, okay, trying to do as well as I possibly could. But what I realized was that the harder I worked, the bigger my director's bonus was, which meant that it was easier for him to buy his daughter a new pony every year, which strangely enough didn't actually help my own motivation when I realized it from that particular perspective. Okay, but it's about, one of those things that drove me was that I wanted to have that autonomy. I wanted to have that freedom from having to rely on other people, but also, just not have to sort of, recognize that all of my efforts, all of my work, it is actually, it sits well with me, okay, in the terms of that, if I have a losing trade, that's all my responsibility, but equally when I have good winning trades, that is all from my own work and my own endeavors. It's that autonomy, okay? That is one of the real drivers for my motivation. And I find when I work with lots of traders, I work with lots of traders across the globe, is that, beyond a particular financial level, what you realize is that autonomy certainly really becomes one of those key motivators, key drivers, okay? That ability to sort of, to live life by your own rules, okay? It really does become a super motivator. But it is really important, ladies and gentlemen, to spend a bit of time, just sit down with a piece of paper, go and sit in a coffee shop, go and sit under a tree in a park, okay? Sit down and actually just write out, why do you want to be a trader? Why do you really want to be a trader, okay? Address that. Work out what are the particular drivers that brought you to trading, okay? Because it's important to know this, because, as we'll discuss a little bit later on, when you're in those particular valleys, you're going to need to sort of come and re-tap into those particular motivators. And if you realize that they are quite empty, quite superficial, okay, that they're not really particularly in line with who you are or where you want to be, well, then that will actually just bring you challenges down the road, okay? So take the time, okay? Take the time to sit down and sort of just, be honest with yourself. Once again, understand, what really were your motivators to be a trader, and what is it that you really truly enjoy about trading in your present experience. Because as I said, it filters into your trading discipline. And we talked about trading discipline, okay, on one of the previous Trading Spotlight webinars, which, as always, you can find on the YouTube channel. You can always find them on the Facebook group and also in our Traders Yard page. But we talked to them specifically about that sort of managing the trading discipline, how you could work with that. By all means, go and find that webinar and review it. It's always full of useful information. But as you can see there over on the right, that motivation feeds into your trading discipline. It's easier to be a disciplined trader when you have the right motivation, okay? Pretty much like what you'll find in any aspect of life, okay? If your key drivers, your motivators are good, deep, strong motivators, it is actually easier to be disciplined, okay? You'll find it's easy to be disciplined, and that is crucially important for trading, but actually you'll find it sort of covers all areas of life, you'll find. So, that's one of the other reasons why it's important. Just spend a bit of time working out what is your motivation for trading. So, what can we do? All right, what can we do to sort of help us manage our trading motivation? So here's a little challenge for you, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I'm asking you lots of questions today, okay? Is that on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you score your own trader motivation, okay? If we had 1 as, lacking in motivation, seriously flagging, and at 10, but you felt that, you're on a peak, okay? Your trader motivation was absolutely tip top, okay? Now, I'd be interested to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, just, put the scores there in the scores on the doors, just put them in there in the chat box, okay, or in the comment box. It's interesting to understand, we're at the start of a new year. This is usually a period when, people are motivated, they're motivated to sort of make change in their life, they're motivated to achieve their goals, they're motivated to become the best trader they possibly can be. But it is interesting. Just take a quick snapshot with yourself, ladies and gentlemen. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you score your own trader motivation today? And I fully understand. What you say might be your trader motivation today could be different tomorrow. Okay, you could, if you've had a challenging start to the week and tomorrow is a fantastic trading day, well then your motivation will perhaps be a little bit different. But it's about taking a snapshot. So Pete says, although I do feel I'm in a valley, I'm still motivated to trade, and I would score myself as a 7. That's great. That's super, Peter. Thanks for your honesty. Plarman says today he's 7 to 8. Fantastic. That's great. Okay, that's great. You know, it's super. You know, and it might be just a little. It might be just a little question you want to add into your own. You know, sort of start of the week, start of the day trading processes. You know, how motivated am I to trade today? You know, what's motivating me today? Okay, what's my score out of 1 to 10? Just take a little score of that. Okay, and interestingly, if you do that every day, okay, for let's say for the next 30 days, maybe even the next 60 days, okay, and then you took that every morning, just scored yourself and plotted that on a graph. I'd be interested to see how that trading motivation, how sort of motivated you felt. What, if any, correlation there was with your trading performance. You might be surprised. Then again, maybe not. But you know, today it's just a case of where are you today? What's your feeling in terms of your trading motivation? And you know, as we've said earlier on, you know, be honest. Are you in a peak? Or are you in a plateau? Or are you in a valley? All right. And let's look at what we can do to help, ladies and gentlemen. Well, so for those of you, you know, who might have said that you felt as if you're on a peak, that you're conquering a peak. Well, I suppose the first point is, how do you define a peak? So, and that's a very good question, you know, and I would push that out to you. Think about it. Take a little moment, put a little comment in the chat box. How do you define a peak? You know, the definition of a peak can be very different for individuals. So it might be, somebody might just see the peak is that they are a world-class, consistently successful trader, and until they achieve that, you know, nothing else will do. Other people will manage and realize that actually it's like a series of peaks, maybe a series of ridges and peaks that, you know, that they are looking to conquer as part of a bigger, longer journey towards where they want to get to. If at the moment you feel that you're on a peak, and if you feel that you're trading well, you know, how strong do you think your motivation is likely to be? Okay, it's like anything in life, all right? If you know, if you're enjoying it, if you're getting good results, if you feel as if you're trading well, as if you're in a good spot, well, not unsurprising that, you know, your trading motivation is probably likely to be very strong, isn't it? It's likely to, you know, you're not really likely to have too many issues, or so you'd think. Okay. But I just add you a note of caution, ladies and gentlemen, okay? If you're presently on a peak, or you're preaching, or you feel like you've been on a peak for a while, I just add a note of caution, all right? Beware of complacency, ladies and gentlemen, right? Beware of complacency, beware of hubris, okay? Because if you're not, then what will happen is you'll start setting the conditions for your next trough, your next valley, all right? What I mean by that is, when people start conquering a peak, when they start to feel as if they're on a peak in their trading, okay, in terms of their motivation, how they're performing, what happens is lots of people get lazy, okay? They become a bit complacent. They stop doing the things that got them onto that peak because they think, I've made it. I've made it. I'm a superstar. I'm a rock star trader. Look at me, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I don't need to be doing those early morning processes. I don't need to be doing those records anymore. I don't need to be sort of, you know, planning my week ahead. They stop doing it because they think they've made it. And when you do that, what you're doing is you're setting the conditions for your next valley, okay? So if you're on a peak, or if you're there, just beware of complacency, ladies and gentlemen. Beware of hubris, okay? Just take on board. If you look through history of great traders, you will find there's lots of examples of hubris, okay? Of people who just started to believe their own myth, okay? They started to believe that they were fantastic, they were untouchable, okay? They were lost the ability to be modest and humble, and then it caught up with them, okay? So if you're on a peak, fantastic. If you feel as if you're getting there, super. You know, I congratulate you. Give yourself a pat on the back, but beware of complacency, ladies and gentlemen. So for those of you who said that, you know, you felt as if you were hitting a plateau, okay? You were on a plateau, all right? First point I'd like you to take on board, ladies and gentlemen, is that, you know, a plateau isn't necessarily negative. Okay, sometimes people think that, okay, they've hit a plateau and and they think it's a negative. It's not necessarily a negative. It's about context, okay? Because you see, a plateau in your trading journey, it can be a time for you to rest, reflect, and renew. The challenge, ladies and gentlemen, is when you stay on a plateau for too long. Okay, you get comfortable, right? Be careful becoming too comfortable on a plateau, right? So if you've been scaling, if you've been working hard, maybe you feel as if you've got yourself out of a valley, all right? You've got out of a valley and now you've just plateaued a bit. Well, then that's okay. Okay, as it says, it could be a time for you to rest, reflect, and renew, all right, on your trading, okay, and your motivation, how it's going, how your business is going, how you feel about the progress you've made in compared to, let's say, your trading self from what might be 6, 12, 18, 60 months ago, all right? The challenge is when you find yourself staying on a plateau, okay, for too long, you get a bit comfortable. I've been guilty of this, ladies and gentlemen. I put my hands up, okay, I'm human. I put my hands up. I say that, I have had during periods of my trading career, I've stayed on a plateau for too long, okay? I've got comfortable. I've got too comfortable, okay? Just either trading a certain way or trading a certain size, okay? Or actually, trading certain instruments, okay? Or just, I've just got a little bit too comfortable, right? And, you plateau, okay? And it's part of it is about recognizing it, okay? And as always, it's easier to recognize it in hindsight. It always is. But all I say is just be careful of becoming too comfortable in a plateau. And how can you do that? If you feel as if you are becoming a bit too comfortable, well, refocus on your reasons for trading, okay? Remember, just go back to those questions we asked earlier about your motivations and your driver. Refocus on your vision for what you want to become. This is a great time of the year, okay? We're starting into a new year. Great time for you to sort of, refocus on your vision. Where do you want to be in 6, 12, 18, 3 years, 5 years from now? Spend a little bit of time refocusing on that vision. Maybe get a little bit clearer. Maybe amend it and update it based upon your experiences. Or ideally, create a new set of goals to inspire you from your present plateau. Those goals, are very different. Goals are very personal because success, I've learned, is a very, very personal thing. Some people want to be, sort of trading for a hedge fund, okay, trading massive size, living an extravagant lifestyle. Other traders I've met are just happy to chip along, okay? They just want to chip along. They just want to have a quiet life. They just want an element of autonomy. They just want the ability to live life by their own rules. It's about goals that are important to you, that will inspire you, okay? Success is a very, very personal thing, okay? Don't feel that you need to follow other people's vision or definition of success. Take the time to work out what your own is. And then finally, we can talk about when you're in a valley. And I've done a little bit on this because lots of people spend time in valleys. I have been in valleys. Every trader you will have ever met has been in a valley. If they tell you they've never been, don't believe them. They're talking rubbish, okay? Every trader at some point on your journey is going to spend time in a valley. And as I say, the first point there is things are never as bad as they seem. Now, I appreciate, ladies and gentlemen, that it can be easy for me to sit here as a professional trader and say, oh, well, things are never as bad as they seem, okay? And it's, when you're in the, let's kind of in the eye of the storm, all right, in the thick of the battle, it's, sometimes we lose perspective about, where we are. All I just want you to say is that things are never as bad as they seem. Things are never as great as they seem either. Things are never as bad as they seem, okay? You cannot always control external events, but you can control your personal peaks and valleys by what you believe and what you do. Remember, you can't control external events. You might have had a great trade setup, absolutely stunning trade setup, met every one of your rules, picture perfect chart there, beautiful trade setup. Trade triggers, trade starts to move your way, and then Donald Trump comes out and tweets something which just sends your trade straight to your stop loss, okay? You can't control that, okay? You can't know that, right? But you can control your personal peaks and valleys by what you believe and what you do, all right? How you respond to events like that can help you control your own peaks and valleys. Takes a bit of time, takes a little bit of understanding, okay? Takes a little bit of time working out your definition of what your own personal peaks and valleys are. And I suggest that, you spend a little bit of time sitting there and working on that. If any of you actually already know in your own mind what you think personal peaks and valleys are, then please put them in the chat box, share them with your fellow trader brethren, okay? It's good to be able to sort of share people's insight and experience. It really sort of makes a huge difference to hear that, that you're not alone, that there are other traders there. But if you find yourself in a valley, well, the path out of the valley appears when you choose to see things differently. This, as I said, it's about controlling your personal peaks and valleys by what you believe and what you do. You change your value into a peak when you find and use that is good, that is hidden in that bad time, okay? That is really, really crucial. Okay, it's very easy when you're on, on a peak, okay, to manage your motivation. But sometimes what happens is, as I said, things are never as bad as they seem. Okay, it's about, if you're having a bit of a challenging time, okay, with your trading and your trading motivation, spend a bit of time to find and use the good that is hidden in that particular bad time. And there will be good. Okay, at the time you might just sit there and think, no way, Paul, not a chance. But I assure you there is good hidden in that challenging time. Take the time to work it out. Maybe the good might be that you manage to, you always manage risk on every one of your trades, regardless of how they played out. You manage the risk. Maybe you just did a good job of always following your process. Maybe you did a good job of always just completing your records regardless. Okay, there is always good that is hidden in that bad and time. You just have to do a little bit of work, a little bit of self-work to understand and to basically to build on that. And that work, I assure you, is a worthwhile investment. As Vincenzo says, how we react is our choice. You're absolutely spot on there, Vincenzo. Absolutely spot on, okay? External events will happen. It's how we react, okay? That is what actually sets our own personal little peaks and valleys. So another element, part two of when you're in a valley. So when you're in a valley, it can be easy to consider giving up. You might just think this is tougher than you thought. This is hard. It's not really turned out how you were expecting. And if your trader motivation is flagging, or if it has your motivation and enthusiasm has completely disappeared, well then, you might be considering giving up on trading. Okay, you might consider that throwing in the towel, that you've had enough. All right. So, if you are feeling like that, and everybody will, okay, I assure you that at some point, everybody will. It's part of that journey, okay? It's part of that journey. If anyone says that they've never been in as I said, never been in a valley or never felt that they should give up on trading or what have you, then they're talking nonsense, all right? It's a challenging journey, okay? There's a challenge in that journey. So what do you have to do? What can you do to help yourself? Well, first thing, take 100% responsibility. You are where you are, okay? It is what it is, all right? Take 100% responsibility. Don't be blaming the market. Don't be blaming the broker. Don't be blaming the trade signals if you follow. Don't be blaming Donald Trump, okay? Take 100% responsibility. Own it. Take a little bit of time to think about what led you to this place, all right? What led you to this place? Be brutally honest. Did you not have a trading plan? Did you not follow your plan? Were you undisciplined in your trading? Were you trading just impulsively rather than, well-disciplined, okay? Be honest with yourself, all right? Because remember, you can start to take the good out of that. One of the things that might be a bit tough for people to understand is to embrace the pain, okay? The pain in a valley can wake you to a truth that you've been ignoring. What does that mean? Well, human beings we are a superb ecosystem, okay? And this is a fantastic sort of biological, physiological system that will do whatever it can to avoid pain, okay? Sometimes that avoiding pain means that it won't let you put the trader. You'll be overwhelmed by fear and you won't put the trader because the body wants to help you avoid the pain of a possible losing trade. And as human beings, we like to sort of kind of avoid pain and hunt towards pleasure. That's just natural. But what I say to you is, if you're in a bit of a valley, feeling a little bit of pain, don't run away from it. Embrace it. Step into it, okay? Take the time to understand, as I said, what's led you to this place. Be honest. Be honest with yourself, okay? It's okay, all right? There's no judgment. You just, because what I will tell you is that your next evolution as a trader, your next big step, your next big progression as a trader, it's on the other side of pain, okay? It's on the other side of that pain. Think, as I said, what is the good you can take from this situation? And revisit your vision or create a new one, okay? If you just want to sort of, help your motivation, create a new one. Imagine yourself enjoying a better future in such specific, believable detail that you soon enjoy doing what it is that takes you there, okay? You soon enjoying doing the stuff that you need to do, that you need to do to help take you there. What else can you do in a valley? Well, get outside yourself. It can be easy to withdraw, okay? If you're having a bit of a challenging time, it is very easy to withdraw in on yourself, okay? To become a little bit, maybe a bit self-obsessed about it, all right? Don't. Okay, that's my quick advice. Don't. Get outside of yourself. Go and help your family. Go and volunteer somewhere. Socialize with fellow traders. No one knows your journey better than another trader. Okay, we've all been there. We've all had, we've all had our valleys. We've all had, sort of challenges there. It's okay. All right, it's okay. One of the things is, be humble, help others, okay? Because I can assure you, things are never as bad as they seem. It might appear that someone else is in a far worse position than you are. Be humble and help others. It's like being the opposite of what people who fail when they're on a peak, okay? When people get on a peak and come off it, it's because they're normally arrogant, they're complacent, okay? Be the opposite. Be humble, help others, be modest. Embrace a new perspective, right? What do I mean by that? It's just a trade, all right? So you had a losing trade, okay? It's just a trade, ladies and gentlemen. It says nothing about your value as a human being. Nobody died, okay? You might have lost a little bit of money. You've lost a little bit of time. The money, well, the market's there for you to sort of, upskill yourself enough to be able to sort of withdraw that money from markets in the future. In terms of the time, well, if you really learned from it, if you found the good in that particular situation and you use that to make yourself a better trader, well, you didn't really lose that time then, did you? You invested it, all right? As I said, embrace a new perspective. It's just a trade. So what else can we do? Well, sometimes what I found, ladies and gentlemen, and I actually talk about myself here as well as, the sort of hundreds and thousands of clients I've worked with over the years, is that sometimes your value is due to burnout, right? Trading can be, it can be all consuming. It can take every little bit of you, okay? You get connected to the market and you just want to trade all day, every day, okay? Especially if, times like myself when I'm working for funds, okay? They get their pound of flesh from you, okay? As a trader, sometimes your value is due to burnout, right? Sometimes it is. And and what it is about is that you have to ensure that you're managing your physical, your mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Once again, people have different definitions. When I talk about spiritual health, I don't necessarily mean organized religion, but I do appreciate this. For some people, that is actually, brings them great solace. For other people, spiritual health could actually just be the simple of a walk in nature and connecting with nature. It's your definition. You get to define that, okay? Same with physical, mental, and emotional, right? It's about making sure you're managing it. What I can tell you, okay, from my own experience, from hundreds and thousands of traders, I've worked with, is take breaks before you need them. And I don't mean like necessarily just like a 5-minute break during the day, although that is useful. What I mean is that, if you're, engaged in intraday trading, take long weekends every so often, okay? Take a week off every so often, okay? Take breaks before you need them, all right? Get away from your trading desk. That can be during the day. That can actually be, every month, take a few days away from your trading desk. It becomes, if you're in a valley, very often what it can mean is that people they get a bit of attached to it. They want to work harder, they want to work longer. And actually sometimes, as I said, it's burnout. You just need to get away from your trading desk. Take a little bit of time away, step away from it. Ensure you're getting proper rest and sleep, okay? Sleep is underrated as a performance tool for traders, all right? It's, it's about quantity and quality of sleep, because if you're missing out on that, I can assure you your trading performance will suffer. Talk with your coach if you have one, or your trader network, okay? Just connect with your buddies, because, as I said, everybody will have been through being in a valley. Everyone will have experienced elements of burnout as a trader. It's okay. There's no judgment. No one knows your journey quite like another trader, right? And also get yourself a life outside of trading, all right? Get yourself a life in terms of giving yourself some perspective. Perhaps you have family, perhaps you have, your own immediate family, or you have a large family, perhaps you have, great network of friends, perhaps you're engaged with, worthwhile causes or, worthy pursuits, okay? Have a life outside of trading. Step away from it, okay? If your value has been burnt out, step away from it. And if there's one thing I can tell you, okay, that keeps coming up time and time again when I coach traders, is that prevention is always better than cure. It's easy for me to say, okay? We all can say it, all right, in glib platitude. But I assure you, once you've burnt out once or twice as a trader, you realize prevention is always better than cure. There will be early warning signs, okay? There are always early warning signs that you're getting close to burnout, all right? Prevention is always better than cure. Embrace that. So a few final points on managing trader motivation is that everybody experiences peaks, valleys, and plateaus on the trading journey. You're no different, okay? Your journey isn't really that unique. Everyone has peaks, valleys, and plateaus. Make sure that your initial reasons for trading match up with your motivations, your ethics, and your values. Because when you do have a challenging time, okay, if your motivations or drivers were not really in alignment, okay, that will only add to your challenge. A personal peak is a triumph over fear, ladies and gentlemen. Right? A personal peak is a triumph over fear. Remember what I said is that embrace the pain. Okay, your next evolution as a trader is on the other side of the pain, and you create a peak when you truly follow your vision. Spend some time, get busy on it, work on it, create your vision. So to conclude, the journey to trading success is full of peaks, valleys, and plateaus for everyone. If you're on a plateau or in a valley, then trader motivation may be flagging. That's understandable. You're human. Embrace the situation, okay? Be honest about it. Make reality your friend. Remember your initial motivations for trading. Check in with them. Reconnect with your vision of the future, or redraw one, okay? Redraw a new vision for your future. If you need to take a break, do so. It's okay. Markets were here before you are on this mortal coil. They will be here long after we have all left this mortal coil, okay? If you have to take a break for a day, a week, a month, a quarter, a year, okay, in your trading journey, it's okay. That's okay. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, okay, prevention is better than cure. Prevention is always better than cure. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you found that useful. As I said, if you want to share your own experiences, you know, or ask questions, I'm going to be in the Traders Yard this afternoon, okay? tradersyard.com/group/312. Come and join us, okay? You know, I love hearing about people's own trading journeys and experiences. You know, it's fascinating. You can all learn from everybody, regardless of whether you've been trading for 2 weeks or 2 decades. And don't forget to join my colleague Marcus. He's going to be talking to you on Wednesday, and he's going to be talking about what to do if you've lost all your money from trading. He'll be talking about the danger of trading more than you can afford, when you should try to get it back, and when you should just accept your losses, and how to bounce back from trading losses in a sustainable way. That'll carry on at 2 o'clock on Wednesday, January the 15th. You can join as always, or head over to the Admiral Markets website to sign up. And you'll find plenty of analysis and education on the admiralmarkets.com website. As always, if you've got ideas or thoughts, or you've got particular questions after this session, you can contact us, hello@admiralmarkets.com on email, youtube.com/admiralmarkets, facebook.com/admiralmarketsglobal. So I hope you found that useful, ladies and gentlemen. I hope it's given you a little bit of food for thought, okay? That's given you just something to sort of consider, and maybe a few exercises for you to do as you embrace this new trading year. As always, I wish you the very best of success in your own trading journey, ladies and gentlemen. Please feel free to join my colleagues Marcus and Jens, both on their webinars and also in the Traders Yard. And I look forward to speaking to you soon on the next Trading Spotlight webinar. Thanks for your comments there. Franja says, thanks, Happy New Year and all the best. Plarman says, every time is very interesting. Thank you, Paul. That's great, Plarman. I really appreciate the feedback. Balder says, thanks, Paul. That's great. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. Hope it's given you lots of food for thought. Wish you the best of success in your own trading endeavors. And I look forward to speaking to you soon, traders. Trade well.